Hello guys, welcome to today's episode of the Kitchen 254. Today is on date 11th of February. The last time I vlogged or I picked the camera was on 5th or 6th, around that time. So today is on Friday and today's episode will prepare pork, kales and ugali. Ugali is maize meal and kales is sukuma wiki. So I'll get the pork from the fridge and let it defrost as we go to the shamba and harvest some sukuma wiki. Actually, we do not purchase our sukumas from Mama Mboga. We usually harvest from our small shamba. Yeah, so that is what we're gonna do in this episode. And also, I love to create my vision board. I may not take you along creating my vision board, but I can tell you two of my most favorite vision or things that I include on my vision board that I've already started. So one of my favorite thing is my relationship with God. I know this is personal, but yeah, whatever. So I'm really trying to connect more with God, because last year hasn't been the best. I tried, and anything that happened I was like, man, God, are you really there? So sometimes life hits you and you're like, this God is not there. So I'm really trying to grow spiritually and mentally when it comes to my relationship with God, and not just take things from just the naked eye, but really think about our relationship, where we are, why certain things happen the way they are, and not question when some things are happening the way they are, but just take it and be like, okay, fine, let's move on. So I'm really trying to do that. I started in January, and along the way, I've not been that consistent, but I've started my journey. That is what I'm trying to say. I've started my journey, and I'm really trying to be more consistent this year and complain less this year than I did last year. I'm trying to improve that relationship and connection with God, both spiritually, mentally. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. My second most favorite thing on my vision board is me going back to school. I'm so excited that I've gotten back to school. I was in a certain public university around a few years back, but I stopped going because of lack of school fees. So along the years, I know I've wanted to go back. I know I've really been wanting to go back, but financial constraints. But this year, I'm glad because I took the bull by its horns, and sorry about that, there was some slight distraction. So as I was saying, my second vision is to go back to school, of which I've already gone back to school. I joined late last month, and sati niko na pesa ama nini, but it's because I've decided to have to be selfish on some things and deny myself some luxuries just to make sure that I get to complete school. What I mean by that is that this year I'll save less, because I'm not paid thousands, hundreds of thousands. The little that I'm making from my monthly salary or my work is not that much, and so I really have to be selfish on some of the things that I have been doing along the years. Yeah. So that's my second most favorite vision that I've really started, and I'm very intentional. It has to work, and I hope that I'll be able to get up on my school fees and just yeah. Even if there'll be those moments where it's not enough, I just hope to be able to get through. I don't know what the future holds for me, but one thing I'm certain is that I'll finish my school by next year. That's what I'm really hoping to do and to achieve. So that is my most favorite thing in my vision board, and the rest They might seem so obvious, but they are not. Like, you know, look for ways to create money, you know, educate myself more despite just being in school, like just continue to grow mentally, look out for my mental health, my health in general. And actually my third most favorite thing is the fact that I can be able to pay for my health insurance. Like, it's very important. It may just be like something so obvious, but no. So I'm also really trying to be like, in case I don't make enough money this month, can I still be able to pay for my monthly insurance premiums? Like, can I do it? So that is also one thing. So those three things: my health, relationship with God, and school. The rest, the rest are just things that I hope to achieve, and I pray to achieve them as I create my vision board. But these are the ones that even if my vision board has three things, I'm good to go. I'm so good to go. Otherwise, so now let me get the pork out of the fridge and then we head to the shamba. Otherwise we'll talk for the whole day. So here's the pork. So this is the pork. So we set it aside to defrost because we still have time. Right now it's a few minutes to 12 p.m. So yeah, so let's head to the shamba. So I'll put you on a time lapse as I go and harvest some skumas. So these are what we plucked. So I'll not prepare all of this, just enough. So we finished harvesting our skumas, and apparently this time we harvested more than usual. Like, this is a lot. This is so much. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna divide it into portions. The one I'm going to prepare today, and the rest I can store them in the fridge and they can be prepared on a later date. Yeah, because this is a lot. And the ones I'm gonna prepare today, I'll soak them. Actually, I'll soak all of this in some water and vinegar. I'll wash them and then I'll store some in the fridge, and then the rest I'll cook them. So I'll store them in water and then add some vinegar. Then after that we'll start cooking. Our pork is still defrosting, so I'm not in a hurry because we're on track. The time is right. Yeah, and also one thing you'll notice that I'm not going to use a lot of spices on this recipe because I love, whether it was beef or even just pork, I don't usually add a lot of spice because I just love my ugali and my skuma and my stew to blend in, and I usually don't love it that spicy. So you'll notice that during me marinating the pork, I'll not marinate it with a lot of spice. I'll just do with garlic and salt. I'll show you, I'll take you around to see that I'm not going to use a lot of spices. Everything that I'm using, they are readily available outside your doors. You can bet me on that. Yeah, so let's get to soaking, dividing this, and then we soak some. So these are the ones I'll put in the fridge, and then so I'll prepare these ones, and this one I'll store them in the fridge. I'll soak this later. Let's start with the ones we are cooking today. So I'm gonna take them out, and then I'll add some water in here. Then then I'll add the vinegar. Since it's not that much, I'll just add the whole of it. Then I'll soak in my vegetables. I usually start by removing this veggie. Nataka kwanza kutoa veggie, but this time you know what, bado ita work too, no pressure. And I'll start chopping them. I'll get to, you know, yeah. So our pork is still doing fine. Our pork is still defrosting. Here it is. So it's still defrosting, and I know just a matter of time it will be ready to be marinated. Yeah, it's already chopped, so there's no need for me to. Here are our ingredients. This is what I'm going to use when cooking my pork and kales. So we have, this is coriander stems, this is hoho, tomatoes, ginger which has been smashed. Then we have garlic smashed and red onion. I've used 1.5 big red onions. Although all of this, I'm not going to use it in cooking the pork only, but I'll also use it in cooking the kales. These tomatoes are for pork, the rest are for pork. Yeah. So these are the spices that I'm going to use when marinating the pork. I'm going to use garam masala, garlic powder, and turmeric. As I told you before, I hate, or I don't like using a lot of spice when it comes to cooking stew that I'm going to consume with ugali. I just love to feel every pinch of my meal. I love to feel my ugali, my skuma, and my pork. So when I put a lot of spice to the pork, it just overpowers the other meals, of which I don't, personally I don't like that. Yeah, so on to marinating the pork. Here's our pork. This is 1 kg of pork, well chopped. So I'm gonna add some garlic onto it. So just a small portion of garlic we'll add there. Then I'll put ginger. Then I'll add some salt. You add salt. Then I can add my garam masala, just some small amount of all these spices, not much. Then, oops, a small portion of turmeric. Then I can add, since garlic powder is not enough, I'll just put all of it. And then we go in and mix. My hands are clean, by the way, in case I don't want us to assume. My hands are clean. When marinating, just ensure that your meat is dry, doesn't have water. So as you can see, mine doesn't have. Yeah, so I'll put this aside in the fridge, then we'll give it like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not gonna wait for that long, just 10 to 15 minutes, and then it will be ready, and then we'll begin with our cooking. Yeah, I already chopped my skuma, like I'm set today. So immediately I'm done with the pork, then we'll begin with making the skuma. Although I know most of you already know how to prepare skuma, but our pork is now ready. We can now begin. Yeah, so it's now ready, and we can now begin by cooking. So I'm waiting for the sporia to dry. When it comes to preparing pork, you don't have to use oil. But if your pork is not that fatty, like it doesn't have a lot of fat, that is when you can add just little oil. But generally, oil is not supposed to be added to pork while cooking, depending on how your pork, like the amount of fat your pork has. Yeah, so my pork wasn't that fatty, so I'm gonna add some oil to the sufuria, just a little, not much, just small amount like that. And then I'll add in my pork. So I'll let it cook for a while until it begins to brown. Then I'll add other ingredients. Let's look at how our food is doing. As I told you before, you're not supposed to add any oil. As you can see, I did not add that much oil. Otherwise, if it was a very fatty pork, then things will have gone south. Yeah, so I'm gonna add the onions, just a handful. Then I'll add the coriander stems. During this process of me frying the pork, I'm not going to add more spices again. As I stated earlier, I don't like when my stew overpowers my other meals. So I'm not gonna make it that spicy, and so I'm just gonna go with these ingredients and then we'll be done with our pork. But if you prefer to use more spices, you can as well go ahead. But for me, this is my preference and this is what works for me. And not only for pork, but even when it comes for me preparing beef that I'm going to consume with ugali and sukuma, I don't like it when it overpowers my other meals. But if it was something like rice, I wouldn't mind adding more spices. I'm gonna add some garlic, the one that remained when I was marinating. So our pork is coming to life. Yeah. And then we go in with our hoho. Then at this point I'm going to add the tomato, then I'll cover it and wait for the tomatoes to steam, and then yeah. And again, when it comes to preparing pork, it's not the same way as beef, because you're not supposed to add water like atikwena supu, no. So, but I'm going to add little just to make it a bit more gravy, and so that it doesn't stick to the sufuria, because my sufuria is not the non-stick type. So just add to steam like that. Then cover it and wait for the tomato to steam. Yeah, so the remaining onions, I'm going to use them for the kales. And then this will be the last item I add on my pork. This is dhania leaves, coriander leaves rather. Yeah, so this is what we'll add on our garnishing, and then that's it. Pork it's not that complicated. It's the easiest, and you know, you don't have to use all these items I've used. You can even just go in with your onions and tomatoes, and your pork will still be delicious, as long as you just know you're not supposed to add water and oil depending on how fatty your pork is, and you're not supposed to add water unless you just want to make it a little bit more gravy, but you don't add water to create soup out of pork. Yeah, so let's give it a few minutes, and then we'll come and see how our onions are turning up to be. Our pork, and see how it's doing. Yeah, it's a little bit gravy because I added a small amount of water. Yeah. The salt is okay, the one that I put while marinating, so I'm not adding more salt as well. Another alternative to tomatoes, you can blend your tomatoes as well, so that it doesn't leave this skin. Otherwise, if you don't mind like me, it's all good. Our pork looks so, oh my god, the best. If I can bring some closer for you to see. So lastly, I'm gonna add the coriander leaves. See, and yeah, we are done. So let's taste to see. We killed it. It's absolutely amazing. Like, I can't wait to dig in. As you can see, it doesn't have any water, or it's just wet fry but no water in it. Like, amazing. Now I'll prepare the kales and then ugali, and then I'll catch you up on the other side, because I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm not taking you along me preparing the ugali and the kales, because it's not that hard. But if you love me to show you how to prepare the rest of that, then I don't mind if you can comment on the comment section below and let me know. Otherwise, kales and ugali, I already have a recipe for ugali in my previous videos. You can go and check it out. For the kales, you can request, and I don't mind taking you along with that. But for today, this video is gonna be very long, and I don't want to keep you here just, otherwise. Here's our pork. Now on to preparing the kale and ugali, and we set the table, and yeah. So guys, I've just finished cooking. Now it's like 7 p.m. and I'm just here to bid you goodbye as I show you my beautiful dish. That's the skuma, that's the pork, and this is my ugali. So thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next one. Bye bye.